it's just amazing how many people in the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo like was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Between Diddy and Epstein, there's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said it was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia like.
Stop coming after outlets. Stop coming after reporters. Stop coming after platforms. You got my number. Call me. Please sue me. I want to go to court. And when it's time for discovery, I guess we can all find out.
People remember when Elon Musk casually dropped that comment, hinting that Sean Combs' relationships weren't as clean as they looked, and most of the internet just kept scrolling like it was nothing. At the time, it felt easy to dismiss. Now fast forward, and there's talk of a leaked list circulating, and suddenly the industry went quiet all at once. Like the same alarm rang in 1,000 rooms simultaneously. And the first name that keeps coming up is Kim Porter, not a random associate.
I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do, be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship.
Kim Porter was someone with direct access for years. Longtime partner, mother of Diddy's children, full visibility, not secondhand stories. That's why her name doesn't leave the conversation. When you're that close, you don't just see headlines, you see patterns, routines, business moves, private rooms, and repeat behavior. And that's exactly why many people never fully accepted the official explanation surrounding her passing.
Since really right after the that it was P. Diddy who you.
I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a It was just male machismo and bravado.
The public narrative was pneumonia, case closed. But for people who followed the story closely for years, it never sat right. Kim didn't appear to be fading away or stepping back from life. She was active, moving, and making plans. Then suddenly, she was gone. That's where Jaguar Wright became loud and stayed loud. She's publicly claimed that Kim allegedly knew too much and was preparing to speak openly. According to Jaguar, this wasn't about gossip, it was about truth and accountability. People know Jaguar doesn't back down easily. She's openly challenged powerful names to take legal action if she's lying. That level of confidence changes how people listen.
Dynamic to have Cassie be as visually like stunning and is, and then you know a part of you is like, I really want to go in and do this, but then the other part of you is like, this mother in the corner over here dictating how to do this and how to do that is like really like pulling me in the opposite direction. So you take that and then you add another guy to the mix, and it just gets real strange, man, especially once he becomes like active and you fall off and you just sitting there watching like, yo, I like it's just weird, bro. I don't know how else to explain that, man. It is weird.
I mentioned that he was a voyeur during this encounters. You were involved with Cassie Ventura directly in those rooms, as you've testified. Were you ever involved with Sean Diddy Combs? Did you two ever have an interaction in those encounters?
Nope, actually, not one conversation, not even eye contact.
Really?
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
Well, it was told to me immediately, like on the first encounter, that I was instructed to not look at him, not acknowledge him, not have any interactions with
By
celebra.
Cassie?
Yeah, by Cassie. So those were the
When someone speaks that boldly, even skeptics pause and ask why. If Kim Porter really was preparing to expose what she witnessed behind closed doors, that wouldn't just make her a problem for one person. It would make her a threat to an entire ecosystem built on silence. Now shift to another name already tied to public record, Jennifer Lopez. People sometimes act like she was just around back then, but she was directly present during one of the biggest moments attached to Diddy's name. The 1999 nightclub shooting wasn't just chaos, it became a defining moment. A woman was injured, Shine took the fall and served time, and Jennifer Lopez walked away without charges. Here's the detail that keeps resurfacing. The woman who was injured later said she saw Diddy pull the trigger, not Shine. That statement alone has kept the conversation alive for decades. On top of that, there have been long-running rumors that Jennifer allegedly handed the weapon back to Diddy afterward.
This doesn't take into account the person being interviewed. Does it then become fake news?
Well, it's pretty one-sided, and I don't want to get into that phrase, but I feel if you don't give the person the chance to speak for themselves and respond, I mean, this is a pretty established newspaper. You should give the person the right to respond to what your allegation.
Those claims have never been proven in court, but they continue circulating because she wasn't a distant observer. She was inside the situation and later testified. That's why people now ask different questions. With everything else being discussed about Diddy's lifestyle, how much did Jennifer actually witness back then? What did those environments really look like behind closed doors? Even Elon Musk took a public jab, implying proximity comes with awareness. That comment reopened old wounds many thought were buried. Then comes Cassie, and this is where the conversation shifts from online talk to legal paperwork.
The physical, if you're okay. Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So obviously you terminated baby one because you loved him.
Mm-hmm.
How long after you guys started dating is when did the physical start?
The first time it ever happened, which was not even like that long into the relationship, because I met him in February, and then it was probably like the beginning of May, because we were at Meek Mill's birthday.
Cassie didn't just hint. She filed a lawsuit. She put allegations into court records. Her claims described years of control, coercion, and being pushed into situations she said she didn't want. She framed it not as chaos, but as a system. Power, fear, and silence operating like a business model. People also remember messages that circulated publicly, where Cassie described feeling degraded and disturbed by certain situations. What truly shook people was when multiple male escorts later came forward and backed portions of her account.
We all have stories. Seriously, we all have stories. Mine is horrific, and only 5 people know it. And I probably will never tell it. Why didn't you say something then? Because we just want to live. We want to be happy. And we really want to forget the truth.
At that point, it wasn't just one voice anymore. That's when the conversation shifted from rumor into something far more serious and much harder to ignore. So those were the instructions people say were in play, and over time, outsiders started confirming pieces of the pattern. But this is where the street conversation gets tricky. Some believe Cassie knows more than she's ever said publicly. That she was inside that world long enough to see how everything really operated.
The grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the...
And while she eventually spoke up, there are whispers that early on she may have helped facilitate certain situations, not out of choice, but out of survival. Fear, conditioning, pressure, that's how toxic power structures work. That doesn't excuse anything, but it explains how people get trapped. It's also been widely reported that Sean Combs settled Cassie's lawsuit for around $20 million. A settlement doesn't erase what she says she lived through, but it does raise a question people keep asking.
Morning to you. I understand you were inside the courtroom during Ventura's testimony. That the transcripts are just horrific. How did she hold up?
Errol, she broke down on the stand yesterday as she was testifying, and that was one of the most striking moments of the day when she was moved to tears as she was giving, as you said, this very graphic and pornographic testimony. The moment when she broke down was as she was talking about how angry he would get with her sometimes, but also when she was asked about whether or not she enjoyed these, they were called freak-offs, the sexual encounters that she engaged.
How deep did it go, and how much money does it take to keep a story from spreading further? After that, attention shifts to young Miami. In this saga, she became the public face of loyalty while everything else was falling apart. As lawsuits stacked up, clips leaked, and public opinion flipped, she didn't step back. She doubled down. She even wrote a letter to the judge ahead of sentencing, describing Diddy as loving, supportive, and changed.
Birthday party, am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up to
No,
any
well,
of them.
is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel. you know.
And then it will carry on there?
Yeah. Then No, I mean the after party.
No.
She said he was in therapy, working on anger issues. But the internet wasn't convinced. A lot of people said it looked less like love and more like dependence. Private jets, luxury trips, designer bags, a lifestyle that costs serious money. Then another detail started raising eyebrows. Claims surfaced online that she was allegedly present at some of those infamous parties.
Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom. We call Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby, up here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Cassie had described specific details, the white nail polish, the inner circle energy, and when fans started connecting those dots, the tone shifted. Because once a ship looks like it's sinking, anyone still defending the captain risks getting pulled under too. That brings the conversation to Paris Hilton. No, there was no confirmed romantic relationship, but she was part of that same party universe. People like to rewrite history and say she just popped in for vibes and left early. But the Receipts fans point to show her front and center at major events. White parties, birthday bashes, private gatherings. She even praised those events publicly. That 2017 post calling his party unforgettable and saying he had a heart of gold didn't age well at all.
But after that first freak off, she said she felt dirty. She didn't want.
Now that insiders are describing what allegedly went down at those events, the uncomfortable question is back. Did Paris just dance and dip? Or did she see things that should have made anyone step away? Because when someone that visible stays silent, people don't read it as neutral. They read it as protective, like guarding a door. And that leads to Ellen DeGeneres. And this is where things start feeling uneasy.
Party I've ever been to was at blank's house.
Puffy's 50th birthday. It was so sick.
Yeah.
Epic.
All right, next.
Once the Diddy scandal heated up, people noticed Ellen went quiet, packed up, and moved to England. The public explanation was stress, politics, and wanting peace. But in street talk, the word wasn't peace, it was panic. Because Ellen and Diddy weren't strangers. He was a regular on her show, and they joked openly about his parties like it was harmless fun. And now, people are rewatching those clips with a very different lens.
Talks about in those years how they were in a public relationship,
And she says she came to know a completely different person. She says that Diddy motivated her. He believed in her. He helped her grow both professionally and personally. And she says that she's writing this letter because she believes it's important to the court to know the side of Diddy that isn't always seen or spoken.
So those were the instructions people say were in play. And over time, outsiders started confirming pieces of the pattern. But this is where the street conversation gets tricky. Some believe Cassie knows more than she has ever said publicly. That she was inside long enough to understand how the entire operation worked behind the scenes.
Ellen, were you surprised by the allegations about P. Diddy? Did that surprise you about P. Diddy? He's been on your show many times. Have you been to his party?
And while she eventually spoke out, there are whispers that early on she may have helped facilitate certain situations. Not because she wanted to, but because survival can change how people move. Fear, conditioning, pressure, keep it real. That's how toxic power structures operate. And yes, it's been widely reported that Sean Combs settled Cassie's lawsuit for around $20 million. That settlement doesn't erase what she says she lived through, but it does raise one heavy question. How deep did it really go, and how much money does it take to stop a story from spreading further? After that, the spotlight shifts to young Miami. In this saga, she became the public face of loyalty while everything else was falling apart. As lawsuits stacked up, clips leaked, and public opinion flipped overnight, she didn't step back. She doubled down, 10 toes in. She even wrote a letter to the judge describing him as loving, supportive, and changed. She said he was in therapy working on his anger, but the internet wasn't convinced. A lot of people said it looked less like love and more like dependence. Private jets, luxury trips, designer bags, a lifestyle that costs serious money. Then another detail started raising eyebrows. Online claims suggested she was allegedly present at some of those infamous parties. Cassie had described specific details: the white nail polish, the same inner circle energy. And once fans connected those dots, the tone got darker. Because when a ship starts sinking, anyone still defending the captain risks going down with it. That leads to Paris Hilton. No, there was no confirmed romantic relationship, but she was part of that same party universe. People like to rewrite history and say she just showed up for vibes and dipped early. But the receipts fans point to show her front and center at major moments. White parties, birthday bashes, private events. She even praised those gatherings publicly. That 2017 post calling his party unforgettable and saying he had a heart of gold did not age well at all. Now that insiders are describing what allegedly happened at those events, the uncomfortable question is back. Did Paris just dance and leave, or did she witness things that should have made anyone step away? Because when someone that visible stays silent, people don't read it as neutral. They read it as protective, like guarding a door. And that brings the conversation to Ellen DeGeneres. And this is where things start feeling uneasy. Once the Diddy scandal heated up, people noticed Ellen went quiet, packed up, and moved to England. The public explanation was stress, politics, and wanting a reset. But in street talk, the word wasn't peace. It was panic. Because Ellen and Diddy weren't strangers. He was a regular on her show, and they joked openly about his parties like it was harmless fun. Now people are rewatching those clips with a completely different lens and asking questions that didn't get asked before. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this is about loyalty, fear, or protecting a bigger system behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. This is Drama and Brief, where we break down the stories behind the headlines every single time.